Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Every Nation Stellenbosch John Devotional. My name is Sean, and I'm so glad that you've joined today as we look at John chapter 9. John chapter 9 is full of a story that is about a man who was born blind that Jesus healed on the Sabbath. Now, in between accusations as to the divinity of Jesus and whether Sabbath rules were broken, Jesus performs two miracles. The first one is the physical healing of the man who was born blind. We see that he says in verse 3 that it was that the works of God may be displayed in him that he was born blind. Jesus comes and anoints his eyes with mud and sends him off to go wash it in a certain pool. And the man comes back seeing. That is the first miracle, and it is amazing. Then we see that Jesus is not just content to heal this man physically, but he wants to bring spiritual restoration to him as well. And this unfolds through the rest of the chapter. In verse 11, the Pharisees question this man, and he says that the man Jesus healed him. Later on in verse 17, the Pharisees question him again. They can't believe that this has happened. And the man says that the prophet Jesus has healed him. Later on, for a third time, in verse 25, they ask him again, "Tell us and admit that this man was a sinner who healed you." And the man responds that, "I don't know whether he was a sinner or not, but one thing I know, I was blind and now I see. This man must have been sent by God." And then he says an amazing thing. He asks the Pharisees, "Do you also want to become his disciples?" We see that in the man who was born blind, in his heart, he has undergone a transformation of seeing Jesus as just a man, now to a prophet, and now to someone who he wants to follow and be his disciple. And more than that, he wants to tell others about that. He wants to encourage others to become disciples of Jesus. Then in verse 35, we get the final miracle. Jesus reveals himself to the man who was born blind and says, "I am the Messiah." And the man responds with, "Lord, I believe." Spiritual healing has taken place in this man's heart. He not only sees Jesus physically, but now he sees Jesus with true spiritual sight for who he is, as the Messiah, come to take away the sins of the world and save mankind. And I encourage you and trust that as you go through the book of John, that the same would happen to you, that our eyes would be opened in greater measure to who Jesus really is.